So they did a series of surveys, and they found that the United States citizens were the most giving human beings on the planet. And it's just not a case of the United States citizens having more money than anybody else on the planet. They did it several ways, and every way that they filtered for, it wound up that the United States citizens were the most giving. Then they broke it down by political class, and they found that the Republicans were far more giving, to the tune of 10 times more giving, than the so-called Democrats. This is me angry. I don't get angry very often, but I've just come from debating with a so-called Democrat, a so-called liberal. And she had the nerve to say that we're not compassionate. Well, I've got numbers that say that we're super compassionate. I told her it was evil that you talk about compassion and then turn around and say that we need the government to force people to be compassionate. I told her to go kill herself because she is evil and vile. And I meant every word of it. Communism is a disease. Socialism is a disease. You do not force somebody at gunpoint with the threat of jail to be compassionate. The very term, the very concept is an oxymoron. Kill yourself if you think that you need the government to force people to be compassionate, to give other people welfare. Oh, they don't have. That's what they have families for. Your people have destroyed the family. Oh, you didn't know it was the family that takes care of little Jimmy when he can't take care of himself? It's the family. And I'm not talking about the single mom. I'm talking about the grandmother, the grandfather, the aunt, the uncle, the nephew, the uncle, the cousin, the second cousin, the great cousin, family, the family tree. Your party has determined that abortion should be a part of your family platform, that God should be stricken from your platform. And God is not, to me, God, it's a representation of something. Your party is saying that you won't even want to take that representation away. Because I'm sure you don't mean that only Protestants can be in your party or not be in your party. You simply mean that God and any concept thereof should be stricken from your party platform. It is a tool of the devil, the demon, Satan himself, to speak, as the red man says, from both sides of your mouth. To talk about compassion in one sentence, and in the end of the sentence, talking about we need to force government through taxation to force people to be compassionate. Do you see the double speak there? We don't need the government to take care of people. Government does so at the end of a barrel of a gun, at the end of a barrel of a tank, at the end of unloading a clip into an 18-year-old boy. That is what the government does. Oh, and then she said, I'm just talking about taxation. Oh, really? So you think the IRS doesn't throw people in a jail? Do you really think that? Are you really that stupid? If you're that stupid, go kill yourself. We don't need you as a human being. And the woman happened to be black, so don't think I'm being racist. I'm not. If you think that we need to force people to give up their income, to slave for the government, to hand it over to other human beings, and you're so stupid as to not realize that 80% of that money that they so-called collect for welfare, for food stamps, doesn't actually reach the recipient. Only 20% is actually handed out of the so-called set-aside taxation. The majority of it goes to the agency and the Wall Street bankers. Oh, you're too stupid to know that. Why? Because you're a low information human being. Go kill yourself, please. Don't call yourself compassionate when you're talking about incarcerating Negroes because they haven't paid their taxes. Taxes that you have forced through your lofty ideals of being compassionate. It's a tool of the devil to speak out both sides of your mouth. You're insulting. You're offensive. To me, I want more rights. I want equal rights, and you not to have so many rights. It's called doublespeak. That's what it is. They have tried communism. They have tried socialism. The natural order of human beings is capitalism. And capitalism isn't this lie that you socialists and communists love to say, where that one person profits at the expense of another. That's not capitalism. Capitalism is, I offer you something that you dearly want, and you give me something in return that I dearly want. It's called exchange. It's called trade. That's capitalism. Even when they try to force socialism on people, human nature always comes around and they engage in trade instead. Millions of people died from communism. Millions of people have died from socialism. Not so many from capitalism. Oh, I know you're going to go back to the Industrial Revolution and talk about people in factories. That wasn't capitalism. This country has barely touched capitalism because at every turn, one of the powerful elite have stepped in and instead injected socialism, or worse, crony capitalism. If you've confused yourself into thinking that we need to force people to be compassionate, you need to kill yourself today. And I'm totally serious. I don't care about you. Thank you for watching the Shikama Live Show.